Pavel Tsatsouline spent years training Soviet special forces, and those men had a problem most trainers never have to solve. Their hips took a beating every single day. Rucking, climbing, grappling, jumping out of things, and they couldn't afford a single soldier limping around with a bad hip. So the Soviet system developed a set of positions that rebuilt the hips from the inside out. Not stretches, holds. Positions you sink into and stay in under tension until the joint remembers how it's supposed to work. The 5 holds I'm about to show you come straight from that tradition. They take 15 minutes, they require no equipment, and if your hips ache when you stand up, pinch when you squat down, or feel like rusted hinges when you get out of the car, these will do more for you than any stretch or any pill ever will. So let's get into them. The first one is the hardstyle glute bridge hold, and it's built on the exact same principle Pavel made famous with the hardstyle plank. Maximum tension for a short time beats lazy holding for a long time. Here's why it comes first. For most people over 40, hip pain doesn't start in the hip. It starts in the glutes, or more accurately, in the glutes that stopped showing up for work. You sit all day, your glutes go quiet, and every job they were supposed to do gets handed to your hip flexors, your lower back, and the small muscles deep in your hip joint that were never designed to carry that load. They get overworked, they get angry, and you feel it as hip pain. Here's how you do it. Lie on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart, heels maybe 6 inches from your butt. Now drive through your heels and lift your hips until your body makes a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. And here's where it becomes hardstyle. Squeeze your glutes as hard as you possibly can, like you're trying to crack a walnut between them. Brace your abs like you're about to take a punch. 10 seconds of maximum squeeze. Then lower down, rest for 30 seconds, and do it again. 3 rounds. Most people make 2 mistakes here. The first is pushing the hips too high and arching the lower back, which takes the glutes out of it and puts the work right back on the spine. The exact thing we're trying to undo. If you feel this in your lower back instead of your butt, you've gone too high. The second mistake is holding for too long at half effort. If you can hold this for 30 seconds, you're not squeezing hard enough. 10 seconds at 100%, that's the Soviet way. If even that is too much right now, do the same hold, but only lift your hips a few inches off the floor. Same maximum squeeze. The height doesn't matter nearly as much as the tension does. This hold wakes the glutes back up, and once they start doing their job again, the overworked tissues around your hip finally get to stand down. That's where the relief comes from. The second hold is the 90/90ths, and it fixes the thing almost nobody trains: rotation. Your hip isn't a hinge, it's a ball and socket, and it's supposed to rotate inward and outward through a big, smooth arc. But modern life never asks it to. You walk forward, you sit facing forward, you climb stairs facing forward, and decade by decade, the rotation quietly disappears. When a ball and socket joint loses its rotation, it starts to pinch, click, and grind. And that's the deep, hard to point at hip pain so many people describe. Here's the setup. Sit on the floor. Bend your front leg 90 degrees in front of you. Shin roughly parallel to your hips. Bend your back leg 90 degrees behind you, off to the side. Both legs make an L. Now sit up as tall as you can, and this is the part that matters. Try to keep both sit bones pressing toward the floor. Most of you will immediately feel one side of your butt floating in the air. That gap is your missing rotation, measured in inches. Hold it for 60 seconds, sitting tall, breathing slow, letting the hips settle. Then lean your chest forward over the front shin for another 30 seconds, keeping your back long instead of rounding it. Then switch sides. The mistakes are predictable. People slump, round their backs, and call it a stretch. Stay tall. People hold their breath and fight the position, breathe, and let the joint open on the exhale. And people avoid their bad side because it feels worse. Your bad side gets more time, not less. If sitting on the floor like this is brutal for you right now, sit on a cushion or a folded towel to raise your hips a few inches. The position gets dramatically easier, and you can lower the cushion as you improve over the weeks. Either way, this hold restores the rotation your hip has been losing since your 20s, and rotation is the difference between a hip that glides and a hip that grinds. Now, before I show you the third hold, let me tell you about something that's helped a lot of people in your situation. If your hips are just one part of a bigger picture, A stiff back, cranky knees, a body that doesn't move the way it used to? I created a 30-day program called Reboot Your Body, and it's designed to take you from wherever you are right now and walk you step by step through a daily plan that restores your movement and your strength. No gym, no equipment, no guesswork. We're talking about getting down on the floor with your kids or your grandkids and back up again without a second thought. Walking without that hitch in your stride. Sitting through a movie without needing to shift around every 5 minutes. The link is in the description below if you want to check it out. It's the same methodology I'm showing you here, laid out as a complete plan you don't have to think about. All right, back to it. The third hold comes out of the wrestling rooms, where men built hips that could fold into positions most adults can't even imagine. The frog hold. This one targets your adductors, the inner thigh muscles, and here's why that matters for your pain. Tight adductors clamp the hip joint together like a vice. They restrict every squat, every lunge, every step you take, and they're one of the most common hidden drivers of hip and groin pain in people who sit for a living. You can stretch your groin passively for months and get nowhere. This hold is different because gravity loads the position while your muscles learn to accept it. Get on all fours. Spread your knees out wide as far as they'll comfortably go, with your feet out wide behind them and the insides of your feet flat on the floor. Now keep your back flat and slowly rock your hips backward toward your heels. You'll hit a point where the stretch through your inner thighs goes from noticeable to serious. Stop just before serious. Hold there for 60 seconds, breathing slow, and with every exhale, see if your hips will sink a 1/4 inch further back. The first mistake here is going too aggressive too fast. This position has a way of humbling people, and the adductors do not respond well to being attacked. Ease in. The second mistake is letting the lower back round as you rock back, which steals the stretch from the hips. Keep the spine long and let the hips do the moving. If your knees complain on the floor, put a folded blanket under them. If the full position is too much, narrow your knees a few inches. There's no prize for suffering. The prize is consistency. The fourth hold is the one I'd hand to almost every adult in the modern world. The kneeling hip flexor hold. If you sit at a desk, drive a car, or spend your evenings on the couch, your hip flexors, the muscles running across the front of your hip, have been slowly shortening for years. Short hip flexors tilt your pelvis forward, jam the front of your hip joint, and force your lower back into an arch all day long. That's why so much hip pain shows up at the front of the hip, and why it so often travels with back pain. Get into a kneeling lunge, back knee on the floor, on a pad or a folded towel. Front foot flat, front knee at roughly 90 degrees. Now, before you do anything else, squeeze the glute of the back leg as hard as you can. This is the step everyone skips, and it's the step that makes the whole thing work. That glute squeeze tucks your pelvis under, and the moment it does, you'll feel a deep stretch bloom across the front of your back hip. From there, shift your hips an inch or two forward. Stay tall through the chest, like a string is pulling the crown of your head toward the ceiling. 60 seconds. Switch sides. The mistake is always the same. People lean forward and arch their lower back. The stretch disappears, and they crank further and further forward, chasing it. More forward is not the answer. More glute is the answer. If you squeeze hard and stay tall, 2 inches of forward shift is all you'll ever need. You might recognize this as the floor-level cousin of the couch stretch. And it is, but for hip pain specifically, I want you here first, because the glute squeeze and the pelvic position are easier to learn at this height. Own this version for a few weeks, and the more aggressive variations will be waiting for you. The fifth hold ties everything together, and it's the one Pavel built into his kettlebell teaching from the very beginning, the prying squat. Once your glutes are awake, your rotation is coming back, your adductors are letting go, and your hip flexors are lengthening, this is where your hips learn to use all of it at once. Drop into the deepest squat you can manage, feet about shoulder width, toes slightly out, heels glued to the floor. Bring your elbows inside your knees and gently pry your knees outward. That's the prying, a slow, alive pressure, never a static slump. Shift a little side to side. Let your hips explore the bottom of the position like they're remembering an old neighborhood. Stay down for 60 seconds to start, working toward 2 or 3 minutes over the coming weeks. Keep your chest up and your heels down. Drive them into the floor like you're trying to leave footprints. If you can't sink that deep yet without tipping over, hold a door frame or a heavy piece of furniture in front of you, and let your arms carry some of the load while your hips learn the position. Day by day, you'll need the support less. The deep squat is the position every healthy human hip was built for. Half the world still rests in it daily, and hip problems in those populations look nothing like ours. You don't need to live in it. You need to visit it regularly with intent. That's what Prying gives you. So here's how you put all 5 together into a routine you can do 3 times a week. You start with the hard-style glute bridge. 3 rounds of 10 seconds, maximum squeeze, 30 seconds of rest between rounds. Wake the glutes up first, because everything downstream depends on them. From there, the 90/90ths hold, 60 seconds tall plus 30 seconds leaning forward each side. Then the frog hold for 60 seconds. Then the kneeling hip flexor hold, 60 seconds per side, glute squeeze the entire time. And you finish in the prying squat, 60 seconds to start, building toward 2 or 3 minutes, letting everything you just opened up come together in the one position that uses it all. The whole session takes about 15 minutes. Within the first week, you'll notice getting out of the car feels different. Within a month, the deep ache that's been living in your hips starts losing its leash. You'll stride longer when you walk. You'll squat down to grab something off the floor and realize halfway back up that you didn't think about it at all. That's the Soviet method. No equipment, no gym, no 30-minute stretching routines that go nowhere. 5 holds, 15 minutes, 3 times a week, and hips that work the way they were built to. If you want the complete day-by-day plan that takes the guesswork out of all of this, head to the link in the description and grab Reboot Your Body. And if this video helped you, hit subscribe because there are a lot more of these coming. Now stop the video, get on the floor, and start with that glute bridge. Squeeze like you mean it. The clock starts now.